Anywho, we see. Ooh, well, this is already interesting. We see another champion that is not very commonly played. With the Kappa face. Oh man.
I mean, one Kappa open
One.
is that's so brutal.
That's brutal.
I saw that Kappa face there, and I knew exactly how it was gonna line up. Like I was like, yep, that's gonna go right on One Eye Open's face,
That's
and then
great.
it did, and I was like, hmm,
Would it have been better if he was shooting at the Kappa? That's
no,
pretty good.
no, probably
That's
not.
pretty good.
You know, interestingly enough, we got to see Colin in our first featured match today, but he was not using his exalted sleeves. In
Well,
fact, his
I didn't
decks
even
were
think about it.
unsleeved.
Did not even think about it. That's true.
So, Dimit plays through the turn, obviously lays down that diamond first, as we are constantly reminding people the turn one diamond is important for those Angel of Dawns just to come out onto the board. And we see Steele is now looking at his hand. It looks like, yeah, he did keep his 7, while his opponent TripplePac mulliganed. Mulligan to 6. I don't know why I wanted to add an R to Mulligan. Murrigand.
Mergen.
So that was a Shard of Instinct, which is a Sapphire Wild dual shard, and One Eye Open is a Diamond Champion. So we are looking at least Tri-Shard here. We see pleasantries exchanged.
So Wild Sapphire Diamond. Maybe gonna have Sight of the Sun with one eye open. Maybe
Maybe
some Soul Marble action in there.
could be. We see Living Totem come out from TripplePac. Just that strong 2/2, always able to use 3 resources to either give itself Steadfast, Life Drain, Swift Strike, Flight, or permanent +1/+1. All those are permanent. And we see Lord Benjamin hit the board. So that's a 1/1 for 2 human that, if it deals damage, allows Rabbiton to search his board for any. Well, not search his board. It allows him to search the top 3 cards of his deck. And if he finds a human in those, or multiple humans, he can pick one of them and put them onto his hand, into his hand. We see the Meek come out and destroy Lord Benjamin, which TripplePac manages to avoid having to give his Living Totem flight, and manages to avoid letting Steel ever draw a human off of that particular interaction. This actually is
Also,
super good 2-drop. Lord
the
Benjamin.
Living Totem.
Lord Benjamin.
Oh,
Lord
okay.
Benjamin not on the same level as Living Totem. Living Totem probably being, if we had to rank things, in the top 2 or 3 of 2-drops. But I mean, Lord Benjamin's probably in the top 10.
Yeah, Lord Benjamin's definitely got some good synergy, especially with what we already have from set one and set two.
We see Sight of the Sun hit the board on Rabbiton's side of the field, and that's actually an interesting combo with One Eye Open, able to use Sight of the Sun multiple times in a turn.
Yeah, I love seeing the side of the sun there, and really hoping we're gonna see like a soul marble this next turn, because that would be quite a lot of resource generation he could get if he has the shard and the soul marble. Just get it all the way leveled up in on turn four.
Could be. We are going to see TripplePac pass the turn, down to 3 cards in hand, but still with that strong Living Totem on board. We will see what Steel is able to do with the 6 cards in his hand and multiple uses of Sight of Sun if he wishes.
Should also point out that these are undefeated players here currently, so these are definitely the top of the metagame, at least for this tournament.
That's true. Both of these players at 5-0 right now. So we see. Oh, I kind of wish his card blocker was over a little bit. So he's at 4 resources, but he's got 2 available for the turn, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he
Yeah.
just I think he played the dual shard, so he's only got the one left right now.
Okay, if he played a dual shard, then he's on 1, yeah. 1, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with
I
Side of the
have to
Sun,
go
he
and
can
check
still.
their scores real quick just to make sure.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, with the Side of the Sun, he could still potentially ready it and get the health back, if not also use the resources too.
Yeah, I mean, if he's, it's also hard to see his thresholds here. So
Yeah, that is kind of rough there.
the 5 minute delay with the large card blocker,
Right.
the card blocker he's using, not designed for the resolution he's using. That's fine though. We see the living totem swinging again, likely no block here. Not really putting steel into a whole lot of threat here though, because the Sight of the Sun is going to be able to replenish those health points right, actually just right there, just totally nullify the damage that he's taking. Currently, we're watching Steel via Twitch, who is Rabbiton on the on Battlefield, and TripplePac. So then we see the extinction. And in response to the extinction, we see Time Ripple being played on Sight of Sun and just letting the Cerulean Mirror Knight die. So that extinction just manages to destroy one living totem and a Cerulean Mirror Knight. Still leaving TripplePac with only 3 cards in hand, while Rabbiton stays at 5.
Yeah, we see another case where using Time Ripple as a pseudo verdict in the game one.
Obviously, the set 3 bounce that reduces attack would be more ideal there, as it wouldn't raise the cost of troops, but so Sight of Sun returns to the board. Both players at 3 cards in hand, but now TripplePac being on the draw is in a slightly better spot.
It's interesting that he decided to protect Sight of the Sun and then replay it right away. I wonder what kind of big resource shenanigans he's got going on here.
Well, here comes Zentos Inquisitor. I believe that's the brutality gem that allows it to give negative X attack to a troop, where X is the Zentos Inquisitor's attack. So he nullifies Sight of the Sun's ability to swing in. Oh, so there's the
Ooh.
Azure Fate. This is kind of what the deck is expecting here. Actually, just judging by what I've seen him draw, because his card blocker doesn't block everything, I think this could be probably the game-winning turn, if we're being honest here. So now Sight of Sun will exhaust to replenish resources. He's at 6 resources total and can play Hero of Adamant. And then that will be inspired by Azure Fate's Berry and
Spell.
Spell Shield.
Yep.
So that'll remove 20 cards from TripplePac's deck. And then we can see. I'm not sure if he'll play it out this turn. Likely he will, to be honest. He will one eye open, re-exhaust Sight of the Sun, which will then allow him to play the last card in his hand, which is King Gabriel. Both King Gabriel and his loyal Wolfhound Boldheart will be inspired by the Spell Shield and the Berry Gems, which will bury another 19 cards, leaving TripplePac with 6 cards left in his deck here. No cards left in Rabbiton's hand, and an extinction does sort of stabilize the board here. Spell Shield cannot prevent extinction from destroying the board, so we do see the extinction.
It's true, but that was a pretty sick turn there for Steel. I mean, just burying that much of the deck, it's going to be pretty tough for TripplePac to get the kill there in what, 4 more turns?
Yeah, 4 more turns at most, right? Like if there's any Oracle songs, Zodiacs, another Azure Fate, there's probably, if we're thinking about it logically, like another, at the very least, 3 outs for Steel here that just win him the
Sure.
game on the turn.
Sure. Yeah, just burying that much of the deck all in one go, and not having another troop here for TripplePac. That's probably as good as game over, but we'll see. So Okay.
So you see
This
the
is
town.
unfortunate here. Ste Steel maybe forgetting here, I think. With the town crier, you always have to discard two after you draw. So he got to draw the one extra for having a human, but then he had to discard both of his cards anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably is not going to end up mattering here.
Again, I mean, TripplePac could deal 24 damage in these turns.
Yeah, the Zentot's Inquisitor, it'll add 3 attack to the board, which, I mean, it will shrink off the town crier, but that doesn't really help him kill the opponent too much. Still in pretty good shape. And we see the Buccaneer. Gonna go ahead and bounce the town crier back to hand, so he can dig a little bit deeper into his deck. One of the alternative modes, I guess we'll call it, for Buccaneer, where you can bounce one of your own troops for value and replay them.
Yeah.
You see Zentot's Inquisitor attack.
It's
Steal.
just not enough damage.
Exactly. Yeah, from Steel's point, he might as well just go ahead and take it. That's another human for his town crier that he can draw another card off of, and at least filter.
Yeah, at this point, it really just needs one of the like. He just needs like another Azurfate to put onto the board. Like he just wants to get rid of those last two cards, just in case. So we see the town crier hit the board, draws 2, discards 2.
Wish I could see how many resources he had left here. I'm not sure if it's 1 or if it's more than that.
No need to swing here for Steel. Like he's not winning this game in damage anytime soon.
Yeah, I have to give credit though where it's due. I mean, having the berry gem on the Azure Fate certainly gives an alternative way to go and win against control decks.
Yeah, and I mean the Spell Shield gem is on its own good enough to make some of the other troops win cons.
Absolutely.
So we see TripplePac decides to toss that one over, and the players will go into reserves to prepare for game 2.
Sorry about that. Had to go on mute for just a second for some family stuff.
No worries. We're just waiting for the reserves to go through and for players to get back into their game.
Man, that Kappa is funny. Cerulean Mirror Kappa.
I mean, it's a cute little Kappa. Nobody else can see it right now, but it is hiding cards in his reserves.
All right, looks like Steele is done with his reserves changes here, getting ready to go to game two. All right, and the game is starting now. Since Steele won the first one, his opponent should get the choice here of going on the play.
Wait. That's the wrong. Either challenged the wrong person or got the wrong champion. He was not playing against Benoshi, yeah.
Yeah, that was the wrong player. The name was different. It's yeah, he's supposed to be playing TripplePac there.
The Proving Grounds, of course, without flaw at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be nice when we have best of three, but we'll get there.
The best part of the best of three situation is you'll never even need to be in the Proving Grounds. It'll be sad to lose that Proving Grounds, like, solidarity just to see all the people there, but
That's true, because you can just add them to the friends list. You don't have to be there. That's okay. Maybe people will anyway, just sitting around hanging, waiting for the next round.
so we see Steele looking whether he will keep or draw again, and this time giving it a think.
I didn't get a good look at his draws there. I think I think he had some shard problems on that first one.
Doesn't look any happier with this hand, but he keeps it instead. So some people prefer Flood, some people prefer Screw.
I think when you're playing against another control player, it's okay to keep some of those hands where you have more shards because you'll get more time to draw out of it and get into some action. As long as you have a way that you can win the long game. Like if you're an aggro deck against control, that's bad. But if you're playing like a mid range or control deck in the control mirror, that it's okay. It's okay to keep lots of shards.
So we see that turn 1 Sapphire. TripplePac getting that turn 2 Living Totem yet again. Just a scary card to have to deal with for Steel. Like, it's a strong blocker. It's so versatile. It's hard to remove. And even though he's running Tri-Shard, we have to wonder how much removal Steel really has. And he gets his turn 2 Lord Benjamin again. So that's going to sit on the board. Now, this will either pull out a Meek or a Murder, or alternatively, TripplePac can leave the Living Totem back a turn and threaten to give it flight. But he's actually swinging here and hasn't played a Shard yet. So he wasn't playing Shards main 2 last game, and we see him just put the Soul Marble down here. So he doesn't have a third resource in that hand. So Lord Benjamin is going to get through here, allowing Steel to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and pull a human from out of there if one is found. So he swings. We know his win con, generally speaking, is going to be the Azure Fate Sorceress. And he finds a human, pulls it into his hand. His opponent will know this because his hand size will go up, and additionally, his deck size will go down. So now it's just a matter of whether or not he plays that human, and he does. Lays out that Cerulean Mirror Knight, and does he have a resource for the turn, or is he stuck on 2 as well? No, there's the Shard of Instinct. He's going to choose Wild there, getting his first Wild threshold, or his second?
I think that was his second wild.
Yeah, I think that's his second. Two Wilds, 1 Sapphire.
Yeah, it's a little tough with that overlay.
So the Living Totem swings again. Still no shard play from TripplePac here. Naturally speaking, the Cerulean Mirror Knight is not worth this kind of trade or chump. So Steel will take 2 here, go down to 16. None of his troops really trying to get through on damage here yet. Like, Lord Benjamin isn't going to win this race, which is not the point. We'll just see what it does at all. It's just trying to hunt humans.
Yep, just trying to be card advantage to get his combo together, so to speak. Yeah, with TripplePac stuck on 2, I really like this play here. We've already got the second wild, so we do see the Azure Fate has the spell shield already, and it's been inspired now as well by the Mirror Knight. He
Yeah, so
could decide to attack with Mirror Knight if he wants to.
I guess he doesn't want Mirror Knight to get repelled, but he's okay with Benjamin getting repelled. We see the resources going on to the Soul Marble here.
But yeah, it's only
Now,
1 damage, so it's not a big deal to lose out on that.
Steel really wants to find another human here. Does not. His hand size does not go up. The ideal is that every time you swing with Benjamin, you find a human, because finding the humans both filters them out of your deck, which is sort of what you want. But it also gives you cards to play, which is pretty important for any deck that's trying to win on like kind of an alternative win con. You need to be playing more cards than your opponent does. So we see the swing from the Living Totem yet again. Still no third shard. TripplePac at 6 cards that he likely cannot play. If he had a Meek, it would probably have been dropped by now. So we will see another swing from Lord Benjamin here. And likely a swing from the Azure Fate Sorceress as well, unless he fears Preservation. We see a swing from all 3. Deciding to swing with that Cerulean Mirror Knight this turn. The damage becoming slightly more important. Lord Benjamin again looking at the top 3 cards of the deck. Finding a human amongst them. And he will be able to choose what to do with that. I think that's definitely the correct choice. Less safe, but the correct choice in my opinion. And he's at 4 resources this turn, I believe. So there's a lot of stuff he can do. We see him play the Shard of Instinct. He will get a diamond off of that because he's already got double wild. Now I believe he has double diamond. Right. Queen Grace hits the field. Queen Grace, the human queen, is going to sit there and be menacing at the worst. Does not get inspired by the Azure Fate Sorceress.
Yeah, Queen Grace's cost reduction ability, pretty fun in this deck with so many humans, whether it's reducing the cost of Azure Fate so you can inspire more troops, or reducing the cost of other cards so that you can play more of them out of your hand in a single turn.
Mm-hmm. We see the Angel of Dawn come off the top for TripplePac. It does slow down Lord Benjamin and the Azure Fate, but that's definitely not the top deck he's looking for. He's trying to find shards to get closer to Extinction, Extinction being the big play for him here.
Yeah, it just feels like with TripplePac being so far back, like not getting to at least the 4, like if at least 4 resources and he'd be able to play him out most of his game. But being stuck on 2 for this long is pretty devastating.
Especially when you're about to watch your opponent draw 5, discard 2. So this is just like a brutal situation. And I believe we're about to see 2 shards go to the graveyard. We do. He still has a shard to play. He has 2 resources open for the turn. He gives one of the humans in his hand -1 cost and plays it out. It's a Buccaneer, which will return the Angel of Dawn to hand. Still not being inspired by the Azure Fate Sorceress, but that's to be expected at this point.
It's interesting. I almost thought maybe he was going to go for the Town Crier rebuy and get the second effect off that. But that's fine. Putting Angel certainly makes it harder for him to come back, and he can attack with Lord Benjamin here.
Lord Benjamin, of course, being grossly good at doing what he does, which is finding humans, and he finds another one.
Mm-hmm. Man, this card advantage that Steel's got going on is pretty brutal. Like, even if TripplePac had the extinction this turn, which he can't, it would still be pretty tough for him to come back at this point. We do see the third shard now, which does
Is it
open up.
enough here, or is it too little too late?
It's going to be pretty tough. I mean, at this point, TripplePac still needs to play into getting the extinction. He can put flight so that he could block Benjamin if Steel doesn't have any other way to get rid of the totem.
Yeah, but I mean, if he blocks, even if he blocks Benjamin at this point, right?
Right.
He still takes 8 damage on the ground. Assuming that Steel swung with everything, which he doesn't.
Yeah, I think attacking with just these three is fine.
Nothing wrong with this. Looks like Triple's just going to take it all, though. Which means another 3 cards revealed, another human put into hand for Steel. Haven't seen a whole lot of burying going on yet. Now, every time he takes humans out of his deck, he does kind of make his Heroes of Adamant a little weaker.
That is very true. But that's a good problem. I mean, at this point, if they're not in your deck because they're in your hand, I mean, you could just play out those other alternative ones instead, like some of the ones we've seen peeking up above the card guard. Yep.
So here we see the King Gabriel. It's going to hit the board, be inspired by the Azurfade Sorceress. This will bury plenty many cards, 19, like I said last time. A lot of answers and shards going away right there. Now, of course, when you're burying your opponent out, you never really think of those cards as dead. Like, it's not like you remove those. It's fortunate if you're playing against Sapphire and, oh, I buried your 4 counter magics, but I mean, generally speaking, those are just cards they wouldn't have drawn into. Until you've buried your opponent out, they could have an out. And 1 shard into extinction here could be enough to make TripplePac's day a little bit better.
He does have the blood shard.
So do we see the extinction? Also, did he... No, he used all 3 of his resources on the Soul Marble last turn, I see.
Looks like he does not have extinction, though. Thank you, Joe Silly.
TripplePac has disconnected here.
Yeah, he did briefly mention that there, that he lost the connection, but came back. So we'll just hang tight here for a minute. Yeah, it's hard to imagine coming back from this not having the extinction this turn, though. Like, I think he's just dead here. With 3 resources left, I guess he could go either Life Drain or Repel to offset the Buccaneer, let's say. He still ends up taking more than 8, that's for sure.
Well, Verkula, you will be able to see the deck list regardless, right? All deck lists will be posted after the Swiss rounds. Hope Art Unicorn. Hope Art Unicorn, not a terrible draw here, but I think he's just dead on board. Without the ability to give life drain to the totem, I'm guessing this is just good game. Yeah, we
Yep.
see the concede.
Yep, and TripplePac figured it out too. Yeah, it's pretty brutal being stuck on so few shards there, but sometimes
I
that's
mean,
what
that
happens.
is how it works. The shuffler is working as intended. It is shuffling and giving you cards randomly. And sometimes those are not the cards you want.
That is true. Sometimes you keep two shards and just don't draw anymore.